What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Kevin Svensson, and today we're going to be talking about the price of Bitcoin. Over the past 24 hours, Bitcoin has seen a continued move to the downside. We are currently down almost 6%, trading around 9,188. This recent price action has made me feel a little bit more neutral on the Bitcoin price. There are a lot of possibilities that could take place right now. We're going to be discussing why I feel a little bit more neutral on the price, why I'm still long-term bullish, but why we could potentially see some downside in the near future. I'm looking at the 4-hour chart right now, and what we can see is that Bitcoin's price is beginning to come back below this previous multi-year resistance. Real quick, let me just show you that on the weekly chart, we came back below this multi-year resistance trend. We are beginning to test back below this level right now. Now let's hop back into the 4-hour chart so that we can see Bitcoin is testing below this multi-year resistance once again, coming back towards the upward sloping support line. And if you're looking at this trend, Bitcoin has been generally maintaining above this upward sloping support line. And as long as we are above this upward sloping support that we've been holding for the past 2 months, then I'm going to remain bullish on Bitcoin generally. Now that we're testing below our short-term support, which was that previous macro trend resistance where we found support here, I am becoming a little bit more neutral on the price. And the reason why I'm becoming a little bit more neutral is I just want to stay cautious, and I just want to keep you guys informed that if Bitcoin does come back to retest this upward sloping support line and we're not able to hold it, then at the very least, we would be looking to come back to retest previous support at 81 to 8,300 in this range right here. This is the support level that came in during the halving. As the halving was taking place, as we were testing this upward sloping trend line. If we were to break below 9,000, then we could very well be looking to test 83 to 8,100 on that next downside test. And looking at the daily chart, depending on how bearish things get, possibly we maintain these levels. But in my opinion, if this takes place, if this scenario is taking place, prices like 7,700 become much more possible at that point if we see continued moves to the downside. And of course, as I explained before, from swing low to swing high, 7,700 is coming in at the 382 fib retrace, and it is also a previous historic support and resistance zone from October and December of 2019. So 7,700 is a very key level for the bulls to hold if we were to get a major downturn in the market. Now, let me just say this once again. I say that I'm short-term neutral because we're testing below a previous macro trend resistance. This trend is still intact. Things can still remain bullish as long as we're holding above this upward sloping trend line. But if we do end up breaking below this trend line, we're going to be testing the low 8,000s, if not closer to 7,700. So keep these targets in mind, guys. From a weekly perspective, from a long-term perspective, I'm very bullish on Bitcoin. If you guys are familiar with my content, then you guys already know this. You guys are informed about these macro trend signals. These spikes in volume on the weekly chart do indicate major market lows. Just like this spike in volume here indicated that Bitcoin found its low before the major run up to 14K. And this volume spike right here in June of 2019 indicated that Bitcoin found its top just below 14,000. And this volume spike right here, as Bitcoin hit 3858, most likely very well indicates that Bitcoin did find its major market low and that we're most likely not going to be going back to those prices. In my opinion, no matter how bearish the market gets, I'm highly doubtful that we will ever see 3858 again. Now, I know that is an extreme statement, but I'm actually extremely confident that Bitcoin will never see 3858 again, and that we're probably going to be at the lowest testing 6430. From a macro trend perspective, 6430 would be the absolute lowest price. And in my opinion, the only scenario I see that taking place in is if the stock market sees a reversal, right? If we start to form one of these lower low formations that we see routinely at the end of major market cycles, and let's say the stock market finds a reversal soon and we trend back down to find a lower low, I actually think that Bitcoin would most likely not see a lower low because the weekly chart indicates that demand at those prices is too high for Bitcoin to see prices below 3858. And the weekly volume supports that idea. And very likely, even if the stock market was looking for a lower low, Bitcoin would actually find a higher low. I just wanted to explain what I would look for in the market if we were to see a major downturn in the stock market and that having a ripple effect into Bitcoin, right? So as long as we're above the trend line, I got to remain bullish. If we start to break below this, then again, those low 8,000 targets come into play, but ultimately we probably see as low as 7,700 in a major breakdown. But as we're testing below this previous macro trend resistance and testing this upward sloping support, this area right here puts me in a little bit more of a neutral stance on the market. Anything is possible as we're testing below the previous macro trend resistance and above this upward sloping trend line. It's a little bit of a neutral area for me because I know that we could snap below support and test the low 8,000s and then possibly 7,700. But I hope I've made it pretty clear what my stance on the market is right now, and I gave you guys all the parameters that I'm looking at. If we do see a bounce off this trend line, I'll make another video discussing upside targets, but I'm just trying to stay a little bit cautious right now. But that's gonna be it for today's video. Before you go, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, be sure to sign up with the CryptoWatch platform, and join the Patreon if you wanna support this channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.